Now that China is banning edgy figures, I am kind of stuck. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. For today, I want to share with you guys one of my personal frustrations related to the hobby of collecting anime figures. And to get straight to the point, it is in relation to this figure that I'm interested in, 1x4 scale cat ear Sutora, illustrated by Tamano Kedama by Priority Look at 33,000 yen standard version without the wall scroll. Okay, so back then, a couple of days ago when I covered this in Figure News Fix, I said that this is a very reasonable price for a 1x4 scale, right? Free inks are going for 40,000 yen now. But I was overlooking something very important, and that is when you pay 33,000 yen for this figure, you're actually getting two figures in the box. This normal version I'm putting on screen and also a custom off Hadaka version. So you are actually getting two 1x4 scale figures in the box for the price of 33k, making this an absolute bargain. Now that I know this, I want it even more, right? The problem now is that, yeah, this is not very legal. I mean, the Hadaka version, this normal version is fine. And let me bring up an example over here. Alright, so this is Frog's 1x7 scale Hoshizuki Kaede. Go and MFC it what this figure is. Yeah, and you know this thing is actually, yeah, not legal in my country because of you are not allowed to import anything that contains nudity in a way, even though it is supposed to be a product of art and a sculpture. You are not supposed to import it, and this does not just include my own country. For example, even in Singapore, it is even worse because if you get caught importing figures like this, you can potentially go to prison. Yes, in my country, you will get away with a confiscation. Yeah, which means you lose money. Okay, however, it is not like it is completely impossible to get your hands on these figures. And yeah, I am looking for a way to obtain this figure of Cat Ear Sutora, the full package by the way. And obviously, I am facing some difficulties because it is actually not a wise thing to import the figure from HLJ and use EMS or even DHL. So what other options do I have? Like, it is literally impossible to import this from Japan at all. And my next option is actually China. However, in a news which I published late last year, China is now clamping down on edgy figures, like they are making it illegal as well. Yeah, more details in the video right up there. The very same kind of figure is now being outlawed in China as well, and we are starting to see the effect trickle down to the figure market. So this Cat Ear Sutora figure actually has two different regional versions, the China version and also the international version, right? Okay, so even if I were to get this figure from China, because there is a higher chance of actually getting the figure compared to importing from Japan, that is how it works over here in my country. The problem is that China sellers no longer sell the edgy version. You can only buy this standard version for a big discount. Okay, so to give you guys an example over here, over from Taobao, right? Okay, in Taobao or in China, there are two different versions of the same figure. One is made by Priority Look and the other one is made by Otherware. Yes, two companies, they are the same company. And my guess over here is that the Otherware version is the China version, the Priority Look version is the international version. And there are virtually no other sellers in China selling the Priority Look version except for this one single store, which has raked up over 100 pre-orders by now. Meanwhile, the Otherware version has only 2 persons placing a pre-order. It is right there on screen over here. Once again, this is the only shop in Taobao offering the Priority Look version. Every other store in China only offers the Otherware version for much cheaper. Okay, so this is the regional difference we're looking at. Okay, I will go through the two listings over here. This is the Otherware version, 200 Chinese yuan deposit if you want to pre-order. And as you can see over here, standard version 980 Chinese yuan, and then the limited version which includes the wall scroll for 1080. Now 980 Chinese yuan for this 1x4 scale figure, one single version only. If you were to do the conversion to Japanese yen, yes, 980 Chinese yuan is 21,000 Japanese yen, not 33k as priced in HLJ. But let's go back to the picture right here. Let's say I'm going for this party look version, which requires a 300 yuan deposit right there. What is the pricing? Right? Okay, so standard version 1499 Chinese yuan, and the DX version including Wasco 1599. Alright, so what is the conversion over in Japanese yen? 1499 is 32,000 Japanese yen, very close to the 33,000 yen on HLJ. So I am actually quite convinced that the party look version is the one I should be pre-ordering, but I wanted to be sure. So I asked the shop owner, what is the difference between the two? Is it one that includes the adult version, the other doesn't? That is what I asked over here. This is my message, right? Okay, so I asked the shop, what is the difference between the two different versions? Does the party look version include the 18 version, which means translates into the adult version? We don't use the word nude, right? Because we might trigger the algorithm to ban our messages. And the reply was very simple from seller. He is not sure. Yeah, so either the seller really doesn't know what is the content of the party look version, or the seller is refusing to tell me because whatever you say on the internet can be used against you. In case, for example, there is a whistleblower who reported this seller to the authorities, like this guy is selling something illegal, and then all these messages over here, it could be used against the seller in a court case, for example. So there is a likelihood where the seller is refusing to tell because of reasons like this. I don't know, I'm just guessing over here. But given that the pricing of 1499 and 1599 Chinese yuan being so close to the Japanese price of 33,000 yen over in HLJ, I'm actually quite inclined to believe that it is the deluxe version that includes the Hadaka one. Just that the question here is, should I take the risk and pre-order from that Taobao seller earlier? Because 100 plus people did. The reason why getting figures like this from China or Taobao is a lot safer than getting from Japan is because during checkout, where you pay for the product plus shipping, Taobao will automatically slap a 10% tax on it, which is to be paid to the government later, our government, by the way. So when the parcel arrives in my country and then the customs go through it, the tax for this parcel has been paid for, they won't even bother to check it anymore. They just let it pass because they have better work to do. There are other parcels coming from other country where taxes have not been paid. They need to manage those, and that is how you get edgy figures from China instead of from Japan. And now that China is banning edgy figures, I am kind of stuck. Yeah, I will be depending on that one single seller earlier in China, which seems to imply he's taking pre-order for the international party look version but refuses to confirm anything. Which means, should I pre-order from that seller earlier, I'm taking a risk myself. Yeah. And if I were to go for a safer way of doing it, that would be to pre-order it from a local store. Yeah, a local figure store in my hometown, in my country, and the seller will take all the risk for me and try to acquire it from the supplier. That is the only other option at the moment. The only issue is that going through a local dealer in my country means waiting for 2 or 3 months to get the figure after release, which is a bit too long to my liking, given that I would like to review the figure on this channel. Like, that is too long of a wait, right? Of course, if I do end up getting this figure, I will review it, but obviously I will only review the normal version, not the Hadaka version on this channel for obvious reasons. I'm getting the full package for my personal collection. Like, I want to buy things in a complete package. I don't like being left out with something missing in the pack. If you are an anime figure collector and you do collect this kind of figures, do you face difficulties on getting stuff like this simply because of rules and laws in your country? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, this is a classic example of regional differences for the same figure, right? And this is definitely not the first one, won't be the last one. Just a year or two back, we have this Bandai SHF Zatch Bell action figure. Yeah, this post over here from Twitter. So to put it simply, the left one is the China or Hong Kong version, the right one is the Japan version. Yeah, this is what we call by regional differences. If you bought this figure from China Taobao, you get the one on the left. If you get it from Japan, you get the one from the right. And we are seeing the same exact problem with this Cat Ear Sutora figure over here, where from China, you will only get the standard version, not the Hadaka version. So what should I do next? I would love to hear your opinions and advices on how to proceed. Yeah, I want the complete package. I think the most likely scenario I would go with at the moment is to get it from a local store, despite having to wait 2 or 3 months after release before being able to get the figure. Yeah, perhaps playing it safe is the best way to do it. Yeah, so I think this is the first time in a long time where I'm having so much frustration with just trying to enjoy a hobby that I love. Simple as that. And yeah, with this kind of laws in some countries where you are not allowed to import stuff with nudity, even if it is in the name of artwork because of moral and religion, like seriously, whatever religion that you practice, it applies to you. Your religion does not apply to me. That is what I think over here. Anyways, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. And until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Hopefully, I do solve this problem over here. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.